heard you wanna. I heard you wanna chat with your girl. Chat with your girl. Chat with your girl. Chat. Business and beauty, come and confess how you make your money and say yes to the gas.
Yes, y'all, I am so excited. We have a legend, an icon, a friend here on the podcast today. I'd love to introduce to you guys the most amazing makeup artist here today. We have the one, the only Ariel Tejada, aka Makeup by Ariel, in the house. What's up, girl?
Hey, what's up?
It's your first podcast.
It's my first podcast ever.
How are you feeling?
Honored to be here with you.
Girl, you've been attached to my hip for the past week. We've been dining, twerking,
Not only
flipping.
the past week, but the past 8 years.
Past 8 years. That's so crazy. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So crazy.
It is really crazy.
The glow up.
And also to watch you have this whole setup and just like your intro caught me off guard. That was crazy. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud of you. Well, for everyone that may be living under a rock that may not know who you are, you're a sickening professional celebrity makeup artist. Most of you at home have probably seen his looks on the one, the only Kylie Jenner, and also Kris Jenner, Shay Mitchell, Rosalia, Paloma Mami, many others. TBD Patrick Star, and you have gained an amazing following of 2.3 million followers on Instagram and is an all-around baddie.
Oh my God. I don't know if I would say all of that, but
yes, bitch.
A little body here and there, you know what I mean?
What are 3 words that you could describe your career?
Wow. Does overnight count as one?
Yeah.
Overnight. Scary and exciting.
Scary, exciting, all overnight.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I know you since you had, I think, like 3,000 or 4,000 followers when you were working as an assistant to a makeup artist. We were running around. I think we had met. I think I saw a picture and I loved your work. It was a beautiful model. And then we just started DMing, right?
Yeah.
And then I was in the city.
I saw you were in New York.
Yes.
And we just hung out.
We hung out. We walked all over
You had
the
reposted
city.
something of mine, right?
Yes.
You reposted like some look that I did on a model and you're like, yes, like you did so good.
In 2014.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you attended my masterclass with Viva Glam K, the beauty bakery.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy.
That was like a moment for me because it was really like one of the first times that I was like exposed to like being a part of that world, you know?
The influencer side of things. I think that's when a lot of people were exposed to that side of the world.
Totally.
And you were on track to becoming a celebrity makeup artist. You were, how old were you then? 17,
I was
18?
like 17 turning 18.
Yeah, and then we would FaceTime all the time. You would show me how you make your custom lashes. You had these big dreams of like doing Kim Kardashian.
Oh my God, that was my goal. Remember, I would always talk about it. I was like, I can't wait to do Kim.
No. You would say, I know I'm going to do Kim one day.
Yeah.
You were so affirmative and like being like, I am going to do Kim one day. I am going to do that. You even went to Mario's masterclass.
I was so sure about it that every time she would come to New York, I would like plan to like pack my kit and have it ready and like meet her in New York and be like, hey Kim, can I do your makeup one day? Like I thought that's how it was gonna happen. Like I was so sure that I was just gonna go up to her and like it was just gonna magically happen for me. And little did I know that I was not prepared, but I thought I was. Like I thought I was so ready back then, like probably still would have killed it, but maybe not as well as I did in the right timing when God had it planned for me.
That's crazy. I think a lot of people what they don't know about you that we've always like connected on is faith and trust in your faith, which is so personal and crazy to you. Every artist, I feel like, has their own thing, whether it's manifestation, their faith, inspiration, camaraderie. But for you, I feel is like your faith and believing in your faith and what is planned for you is for you.
Totally. I 1000% agree with that. I feel like I fully manifested my entire career for myself. I was crazy enough to believe in myself even when I was quote unquote a mediocre artist, you know? I hyped myself up so much that I made it my reality.
But also too, like, I just want to jump right into it. I want to talk about faith through failure because I remember one day and you gave me permission. We were kikiing the other night. I drove you home to Calabasas, bitch. So we kikied and you gave me permission to bring this up that you were once let go from the job and that you thought the world was just ending.
I thought it was all over.
You called me crying. You're like, I'm God. Like,
You were the first person I called.
That's crazy.
I literally, my mom got it from me as soon as I got home that day, but like you were the first person I called and I'm like, Patrick, I don't know what to do. Like, yeah, I was working for this really talented individual. It was the first time in my life that I was exposed to the celebrity side of things. And
celebrities, if you guys are listening, I have worked with celebrities. Makeup by Ariel has worked with celebrities, and when I'm talking about celebrities, these are A-list celebrities. And then
the
that
most
seemed like
famous, like iconic supermodels in the world. Like I was a part of like all these major campaigns with this person, and just every day like doing goes. Like I was just, that was my life for a second.
you were like 16, 17 years old doing that,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy to me.
I just felt so involved and finally like doing something that I really loved. I was just like on my way to what I thought was my success story. Little did I know, like I was gonna get a call and then she was gonna be like, goodbye, like this is not for you. And it was like, it's funny because it was such a misunderstanding. Like she thought that I had done something that I didn't do, and she thought I was being like shady, and I wasn't. And I was let down because what I believe is, some people feel like sometimes the student is getting ahead of the teacher or whatever it is. And for whatever reasons, whatever her reasons are, she let me go. And I thought my life was done. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do anything. I thought that was like my only path, my only way into this world. And little did I know that right around the corner, some other door was going to be open for me.
Literally. And I remember it was like you calling me when you got the call from Lily Galici to glam her, which was like another big dream, who has been like a major part of your journey, the glam queen herself, Lily Lashes, Lily Galici. That was another goal for you too. You're like, I'm gonna do Lily, and then it was just crazy. Like
in that moment, Lily was like the glam queen, you know. Like everyone wanted to glam Lily. She was like the face to do. And I remember like I would message her on Instagram, I would DM her like all her posts, like I would comment like, please let me do your makeup. And I think she was just like, okay, I'm gonna give this kid a try then. And one day that she was coming to New York Fashion Week, she finally replied to one of my DMs and she was like, hey, like if you want to glam, like I'm down to glam this day or whatever. It was like a day she was doing nothing because she thought, I'm just doing some charity work over here for a kid, you know. Like, and when I finished doing her makeup, she was just so shook. She canceled her makeup artist for the rest of the week.
no way. I totally forgot that.
Yeah, and I did her makeup all Fashion Week.
Would you say, from one of the words before, overnight, is Lily a part of that overnight?
Yeah, for sure. And when I say overnight, I mean overnight to everyone else, because it wasn't overnight for me. But it was definitely a lot faster than people who have worked 10 years to get to where I am. You know what I mean? Even when I started like getting some kind of recognition like 4 or 5 years ago, that Makeup by Ariel became like a thing, that was so much faster than what other people have worked 10, 13
Your
years
career
to get
isn't
to.
even 10 years.
That's what I'm saying.
We've known each other 8 years.
So that to me is wild. And that to the world is overnight success, right? So I think Lily played a huge role in that, because she opened up the eyes to a lot of people that weren't watching me and now had eyes on me.
One thing that I thought was so funny, because it's like, I think it's evident now if we look back at Lily's influence, like glam queen. I don't know if it was you or Patrick Ta or somebody goes, it's funny how the Kardashians look to Lily Galici
Literally.
as like the glam house mother. And then everyone that she had brought along with her on her glam
Eventually.
journey, like Raquel, Etienne, you eventually started doing the Kardashians too. And the first Kardashian Jenner you did was
Kylie.
And then the next
Chloe.
one was Chloe.
Yeah.
And then it was
Kim. Or it was then Kendall and then Kim.
Like, I remember so many things because I felt like I was in this journey with you. You're like, oh my gosh.
I would call you for everything. Patrick, I did this today. Like, you wouldn't, like, you don't know. Like, I bought Lily, like, this cupcake. Like, I was so specific about everything. I would tell you the whole story, the whole rundown of,
I was
like,
waiting in the lobby. I bought her a German chocolate cupcake. Little did I know her favorite's red velvet. So later I give her red velvet. Like, there are so many specific details that this is crazy. But also another thing that I want everyone to know too, it's like all of the makeup artists that I know that have been a success in their career, like, have this crazy warm energy. It's like warm bread on the table. Like, you know, like
Yeah,
you
that makes
have
sense.
this. Like, I feel that with you, Patrick Ta, Priscilla Ono, Harush.
I think that's important to also like stay with your clients, because I feel like, you know, celebrities don't want someone who's like annoying or like too talkative or what. They take that moment to really like soak in the energy and like slowly become that person that everyone knows, you know, like in that moment when they're sitting in glam, this is like therapy. This is like them getting themselves together for the day. You know what I mean? You don't want somebody who's adding stress, but more so somebody who's calming you and soothing you.
And I love how we stress that in regards to your career, that you are still a working professional, because what people may see at home is you as one of Kylie's BFFs.
Yeah, I feel like it's so funny because a lot of people see that side of it because they only see like what we post or like me and Kylie in a story like being silly, but really like
You're working.
I'm working, and I'm also so passionate about what I do. Like I'm so heavily focused on making sure that every lash is going in the same direction and the brow hairs are going, you know, like I'm just so like anal about my job. Like everything is so important to me. Every part of it is so important to me. And I feel like everyone just sees like the final product and the hee and the haha and the body and this. And no, I'm really, really so hardworking.
Well, it's crazy because earlier this week you glammed Nikita Dragon. It was so funny because I finally went on a picnic at noon. I FaceTimed Nikita in eye patches, and I was like, "Hey, girl." She's like, "Oh, sorry, I can't be at the picnic, but Ariel's about to come." We met for dinner at 9:30 at night. You had just finished her glam. It was like 6 hours, and Nikita was like, "Bitch, I better get my pictures tonight," because I sat in this fucking chair for so fucking long. But it's crazy to me. I would think someone that is so experienced, it's like second nature to them, and it's just a breeze.
No, you know what? I still get nervous. I still enjoy the process just as much as I did the first time that I fell in love with makeup. I still wake up every morning breathing, eating, living makeup. Like it's just like my everything. When I do get those moments to just have fun, like I take my time and I make sure that every single step is as perfect as it possibly could be, because I know that this is my introduction to what Nikita Dragon is going to see for the first time on her face. You know, like this is the first Makeup by Ariel experience. I want to give them the full fantasy as good as I possibly can.
Damn, you really gave it to her, because she looked so sickening. We're like a bunch of like birds with like lights just like cheering her on at dinner. So on top of like the obsession with glam, you've done Kylie's campaigns, the WAP video with her, Kim's KKW campaigns, the Met. Oh, God. It's just crazy.
You know, that was the most incredible moment for me in 2016 when I did my first Met Ball with Kylie. I think that was the most monumental and defining moment in my career.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like it set the tone for the Makeup by Ariel look. We finally refined Kylie's look and what it set the tone for what it was going to be for the rest of my time with Kylie. It was like that was the base of our look, and then we built from there. We both felt it. It was like such a moment for the both of us. It was her first Met Ball, it was my first Met. Me and Kylie have just grown together, and that moment was like such a defining moment for us.
Just to backtrack, so from when Lily found you or allowed you to do her makeup, it was just a matter of a simple DM from Kylie?
Yeah, not even 3 months later.
Really?
She direct messaged me and she was like, "If you're ever in town, like I'd love to glam," something along those lines. And I was just like, actually, that's so funny. Well, first of all,
I think I remember this fucking story because you were not in town.
First of all, no, I wasn't. I was in Miami. First of all, I actually didn't see the message till like 14 minutes later. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, she's over it at this point. She's not going to reply. Like, I missed my chance. And I was like freaking out. But I replied back and I was like, well, actually, I'm going to be in LA next week. I didn't have a flight booked. I didn't have anything. My parents were not going to give me money to fly over there. So I said, I'm going to go on this website called Model Mayhem. I started doing these little gigs. I hyped myself up. I was like, I'm the best. I'm this, I'm that. I was like, I made up so many stories on there, things that I didn't do I just made it seem like I was really this big shot and people bought it.
You booked glams to get your ticket from Model Mayhem?
Yeah.
Good old faithful Model Mayhem.
And I was charging like $50 and I saved up enough to get my flight and have $200 left over, and that's all I had. Because my mom was like, if you want to do this, you're doing it on your own.
No way.
And you know what? I'm grateful for that, because it taught me a sense of discipline financially, mentally, like just a lot. My parents were obviously there to support me if I really needed them, but they really wanted me to try to do it on my own. And I did. I literally had $200 in my bank account when I got here. The hotel I couldn't even pay for. Somebody who was friends with Lily Galici got me the hotel for free for 3 nights. And
I remember that hotel, girl.
yeah.
We know which hotel that one is.
I had texted Kai when I landed here, and I was like waiting for her to reply, and she didn't reply till like a day or two later.
You never really had like a set date.
No, it was just, I was in limbo, like just waiting. She finally replies the 3rd day, which is the day I got to leave the hotel. And I only got $200 in my bank account. I'm trying to eat too. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, so I do her makeup. And that night she fell in love with my makeup, and she's like, can you move in with me? I'm building my new house. Da, 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 da. Like, I'm never going to forget this. Like,
that was the first time.
That was the first time. She was like so obsessed with the glam. She's like, can you just move in with me? Like, I just built my new house. Like, it's gonna. And I thought she was joking, you know? And I was just like, I just like laughed it off. Yeah. Probably like the next 3 days I got a call from her. She's like, hey, can you do my glam for fun or whatever? And then it just became a thing. I was doing her makeup like every other day.
So you didn't go back?
No, I didn't go back. I ended up staying at a friend's house, Natalie and Olivia. They let me stay with them, and I lived with them for like 6 months. And I was just couch surfing until I figured it out. And I got to save up enough money to get my first apartment like 6 months later.
Overnight?
Literally.
That's crazy.
Literally.
Okay, so with Kim, did she find you through Natalie and Olivia? Because she's good friends with
They're
with
good
them.
friends now.
Now, but not
I introduced them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, claim. You better claim that. You better claim that relationship.
I met Kim that first New York Fashion Week that I did with Kylie. That was another situation. There was this one day that I had to do Kylie's makeup in under 10 minutes because we had started in like this horrible hotel lighting. I didn't have proper lighting with me. And when we went to the mirror to check her out, she was like 2 different shades from her neck to her face. So we had to like wipe it all down, and I had 10 minutes to redo her makeup. And that was just like scary for me. That day Kim saw her, and I guess they had like talked about me doing her makeup, but I didn't know. And so when I was flying back home from New York, I had treated myself because I was sitting in economy, and I was like, you know what? I worked so hard this week. I'm gonna move myself to first class. And I changed my seat to first class. This was probably the last flight that Kim took on a commercial flight. She walks in, and I'm sitting down, and I'm like, this can't be possible. And she literally waves at me, and everyone in the plane just turns around because who is Kim waving at? You know, like this little boy from Brooklyn, New York, just trying to make it out here. Kim Kardashian waves on me on the plane. I'm like, hi.
But she knew of you.
Yeah.
And you had not done her yet.
No, and I hadn't seen her actually really
in person.
I see Kanye come in, and I just got scared. I was like, you know what? I am just not gonna interrupt them. They're with their kids. She was pregnant with Saint, and North was on the plane. I was like, I'm not gonna interrupt them. I see Kanye put his blanket over his head, and I'm like, oh, here's my chance. I literally get up, I go to the bathroom, and when I'm coming back, I'm like, I point at her, and I'm like, I want to tell you something. So like I type on my phone a whole story. I think I still have the thing on my phone, the note that I wrote to her.
Oh my god.
And I was like, hey, I really don't mean to be a bother, but if you ever need glam, like I would be so happy to do your makeup. Like it was like so cute and sincere. And I gave her the phone, and she like looked at me and smiled, and I remember my heart like sank to the floor. I'm like, what is she gonna say? So she wrote back in my notes, and she was like, I actually just got your information from Kylie. My assistant will be hitting you up probably this week.
Goosebumps, bitch.
My whole body. I was just like, I couldn't be happier. I thought like I could die now. Like I was happy. Actually, let me do her glam first, and then I'll die. I was so excited. Like that was like such a big moment for me because Kim was my dream face, is still my dream face, and I get to work on her so often.
And you just worked with her this week?
Yeah. Somebody had asked me recently who is like my next dream client, and I was like, I work with my dream client, so I don't know if I care to work with anyone. I could be happy like just doing them for the rest of my life. This family has treated me like family. Like they received me with open arms, and I feel like I'm a part of such a great circle that I could literally do them for the rest of my life and not need anything else. But that doesn't mean I'm not wanting to grow and do more. That just means that everything that I ever dreamed of, I'm doing now. I'm literally living my dream life.
The podcast Say Yes to the Guest stands for You Are Successful. And I want to break it down a little bit more. When I talk about perseverance or faith through failure, you had this like something in you to keep going and to keep striving to being the best. And through that failure that you said earlier, you mentioned that to this day, you still take the learnings of what you learned from that previous employer.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like,
It's crazy that you don't resent it, but you take every part of your journey.
it was such a hurtful experience, like the rejection part of it. But what I got to learn and experience through this person was the most amazing thing that could have ever happened to me. I feel like it shaped and molded me into who I am as an artist today. And I'm so grateful for that person. Even if she was in front of me right now, I would tell her in a heartbeat just how much she continues to inspire me every day and how much I've carried on to my own career from her. That was like the biggest thing for me, is that I took away from it, is more like what I learned with her and how much I grew from being in that environment. The etiquette of being on set, she taught me so much about that. Like when you walk into a room, make sure you're a light energy and leave all your feelings behind the door, because this is not somewhere you carry in your personal feelings. You leave that behind the door, and you know, this is a professional work environment where you show yourself at your best.
And you still take that to this day.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think that it takes now to possibly get to where Makeup by Ariel is? Like to me, it's like being at the right place at the right time.
Right,
having
I
faith.
agree
Like,
with that.
It's like everyone has a different journey, but like, what is your personal opinion of what it would take now to stand out and get to a Kim Kardashian or a Kylie Jenner or a Rosalia?
I think authenticity is such a big part of it. Even with artistry, like being true to what you think really represents you as an artist and not what you think they like. Because sometimes they're just looking for something different. Like makeup is kind of like a haircut. Like, you know, you change it up to your mood or how you feel. So I think authenticity is a huge part of it. And I think that's what keeps me relevant and in the place that I'm into, is because I really do stay true to who I am and my art.
What's crazy to me though is like, to be authentic now, my opinion is that you have to be so confident and
Right.
to stand out with your authenticity. But
Totally.
then you were more so shy.
Yeah.
But I want to show you this funny photo.
Patrick, okay. Don't play me.
Because once upon a time, you weren't
Patrick.
as
Patrick.
bitch, this is history. But I need to show receipts of history between us.
Oh my God.
This is us in front of Sephora at Times Square. This is us at the Grove when you were visiting Lily. This is the Ariel that I knew.
Oh
I actually introduced you to Patrick Todd that same night. When Patrick Todd and I were shopping, I was like, bitches, come through. And you came through. But what I wanted to show you that in terms of what I think it takes nowadays is like, you weren't so confident, but now people probably see you with the body, the face, the confidence. You're now singing on TikTok. You're showing your body and curves.
There's so much
on
more of me
TikTok
that people are seeing now.
now, which is crazy because you were so shy. Like, yeah,
I was so
like,
it's funny because I use the word muted often, but it's because growing up, I grew up in a very religious household. Church was our everything.
you're Dominican.
Yeah, I'm Dominican. I grew up in a very strict Dominican religious household, super Christian. It was like church every day. It was school, church. Like there was no other way for me. Everything else seemed wrong to me because at church you're told to act like this, do that. If you are gay, you're gonna go to hell. Like there was just so many things that blocked me from being myself. In a sense, I was muted because the mute button was being pressed for so long. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how else to act. I didn't know how to bring out that side of Ariel. And I think being in LA, being around the Kardashians who were so accepting of me, being around you, being around all these empowering people who felt so true to themselves and were themselves to the world, like made me confident enough to be able to be like, you know what, I don't care about all this stuff. Mom, if you accept me the way I am, cool. If you don't, you don't. I never had like a proper conversation to tell them this is who I am. It just kind of naturally became what it is.
Girl, because let me spill some tea really quick. Because when you first did Chloe, bitch, you told her you were straight. And Miss Chloe Money said, sweetie.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy though? Everyone because I used to say that to everyone because really I was so confused. Like I didn't know what I was. I knew I was different. I knew that I wasn't comfortable acting the way that I was acting, but I didn't know what to call it.
Because it had such a negative association.
Exactly. So in my
that.
head, I blocked it off. I was just like, I'm just different, but something's weird. And I was just like, no, I'm straight.
I'm straight, girl. Chain up. Let me
Girl, I'm straight.
No, but that's totally fine. I'm not making fun of it, but it's
No,
it's just cool to see how even quote unquote that late in your career or after doing the Kardashians, you still had this identity that you were searching for and finding your authenticity.
I feel like it took me till I was like probably like turning 21 when I was just like, oh, okay, like I'm starting to become my own. I'm growing up a little. And that was already like 2 years or a year and a half into me being in LA and really being around all this scene of like all these gays like being themselves and living it up and
Me, bitch, of all people.
And I got to see that world of it all. And like also just being in this industry with all these like people like a James Charles, like all these boys in makeup who were so confidently themselves and didn't care what people said.
Yeah, but you know what? If I break it down, I would assume that these men in makeup being so overtly authentic and themselves reside in the beauty side of influencer. That was my fear too as a makeup artist. Like you never saw flamboyant makeup artists as a professional. I remember I was assisting a celebrity makeup artist and she said, do not wear makeup, do not wear nails, do not dress like this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was very scary and condescending and a little bit damaging, I think, to my identity because I understand. And you know, someone else that resonated with that was that I'm excited to have on is Renny Vasquez. And he said that wasn't seen. So did you feel a little bit of that too? That you had to fit to be masculine as a professional makeup artist? Now, bitch, you have longer nails than me. You're still doing Kim at 6 a.m. Kylie with these.
Subconsciously felt that. It wasn't anything that I intentionally did, but I did subconsciously feel it because remember, I would look at long nails. I'd be like, ew, that's so gross. Like I would never have acrylics.
Bitch.
And now my nails are nails to me really what they represent. It's not just having nails. For me, it became Ariel accepting himself. Ariel living authentically whatever it is that he wants to do and going against the standards of what people think a guy should be or do or say or whatever. Because when I was going to Dubai like a year and a half ago, I remember hitting you up and be like, Patrick, I'm going to Dubai. They want me to cut my nails off. And they were like half of this. They were like almost nothing. And they were like, they want me to cut my nails. Like, what do I do? And Patrick's like, girl, I would cut those things if I were you.
I was scared because I canceled a trip actually because I was invited to Marrakesh. They said that they would have security for me and I was just so scared.
I understood that. And so I hit up the company that was flying me out and I was just like, I'm not going if I can't keep my nails.
And this was a gig, bitch.
Yeah.
This was a paid.
This is the first time that I realized that nails were so important to me. And it wasn't important to me because they were nails. It was important to me because somebody was trying to change a part of me so that I could fit the mold of what was acceptable. And I didn't want to do that. And so I told the company, I don't care how much you guys are paying me. I don't want to go unless I can keep my nails. So they figured it out. And as soon as I got off the plane that day, when I landed, I remember they had everyone sit down. They called my name up. They said, can you please come to the front of the plane? I was sitting 2 rows from the front.
Okay.
But I go up to the front and they take me right out the exit and a Rolls Royce picked me up and took me to the back of the airport. And I didn't have to wait or do anything. My nails were not a problem. I think their biggest concern was me going through customs. And anyway, my whole point to the story is just standing up for myself, for my nails, really led to something great and people respecting my decision and just me for who I am. And being in Dubai in a corset with my waist snatched and my big old butt and my nails, like it was just such a moment for me. And I was just like, oh wow, like I live for this kind of power.
And you have thousands of fans in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And these sold out master classes and
oh my God, my meet and greet had like over 4,000 people.
that's crazy. With the nails.
With the nails and the body.
The body, which we're gonna get to just the
Yeah.
because I don't know how much time we have for
I
this
know.
body. But I would say like your confidence. So for people that are insecure at home, what could you tell them in terms of finding their confidence, finding their version of your long nails, finding who they are and owning it, because it seems so invisible there's not like a roadmap to finding your confidence. What would you tell someone listening about finding who they are?
Well, I feel like we all kind of have a sense of who that is, but we tend to hide it because we don't think it's cool or acceptable. Or maybe sometimes our insecurities really are what makes our strengths, but we push them aside. And I think really embracing those things that we think are not cool or cute about ourselves and acting like it's the best thing is probably like one of the best ways. I truly believe that my gayness to other people is not acceptable. That fuels me to make sure that like I go that much harder to make them uncomfortable and realize that I'm just as great, if not better.
What would you tell your younger self, your insecure, shy younger self?
Don't let those little boys put you down. I'm gonna cry. It gets me emotional because like growing up, like I think this is like a story that like a lot of gays can tell, but like growing up, like you just weren't accepted with the boys. You couldn't hang out with them. Like it wasn't a thing. Like you were just too different to be a part of that circle. So I always found strength in being like with women, which is probably why I'm so good at this job and empowering other women. But what really triggers me about that is just like, I remember Ariel being so shy and insecure and in a corner eating lunch by himself, like thinking that he was never gonna be like noticed or seen or any sense of power, you know? And I would just tell Ariel, it's gonna be all okay. You are gonna be one confident ass bitch with a big old butt and a small waist, and the world is gonna know you for this. Like, and your talent, and you have nothing to worry about, and everything that you thought was an insecurity really is your strength.
Right. An example for me would be like my hair loss, and I'm over here sitting in 40 inches of fucking hair, but that baldness bitch led me to the turban, which led me to the silhouette that is known as Patrick Star. So but the thing is, I think between you and me, and the parallel is that you have to build confidence over time. It's not going to come overnight.
No, it doesn't.
Patience.
Yes, that's a good one. I would tell myself, patience, Ariel. It'll all work out. And also, just like, you're not going to have a fat ass like from one night to the other. Like, God has to give you the right knowledge to get the right body, and he did, and I'm so grateful.
You know what's so funny? I thought it was going to be so hard to talk about your body, but I have not brought it up. You have brought it up a few times.
I'm so
now.
not scared because people think I'm over here really
Let's talk about it.
Listen,
Let's talk about it.
I did not wake up with this body. Actually, I did, but that was from a doctor's bed. So no, because everyone really swears that I'm over here thinking that I think this is how I naturally look. You guys, there's no guy that has a small waist and big hips. Like, that's unnatural. I'm very aware of that, but this is how I like to look. I feel powerful, I feel great, and I feel beautiful. So that's just what it is.
Sickening. Do you remember when the first wave of like hate came? Was it a meme? Did you hear it from the girls?
I think it was progressionally such a thing. I was growing with it.
Was it you in the fucking ocean, bitch? That was
okay. When was it like a moment like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I had posted a video.
With you in a thong.
I had posted a video of me coming out of the water in Turks
and Caicos,
and I was wearing like a pink thong, like bikini kind of vibe with a tank top, and my hips were just swinging. And
tsunami bitch.
And people were like, what is this, a guy with hips and a small waist? Like, this is a woman from down here and a guy from up. And for me, it's so funny because I don't see it like that. Like, bodies to me are like art. They're like sculpture. So like the way I see it is like I've created a work of art.
It looks sickening because it's so dramatic in the photos, but in person it looks sickening.
I was gonna say that I don't think I ever had a moment where I was like crying over it or scared of what
questioning.
No, because I was so comfortable with what I did that it was easy for me to accept the negativity because I knew it was going to come.
And the people around you accepting it too.
Exactly.
That's the thing too. I think that's what helps build the confidence, is like letting the crazy bitches go.
Because I'm sure for you, like, wearing a wig, doing your makeup, and the whole nine was such a process too. But it was also having the people around you accepting it, and also you being so comfortable with it, that really helped a lot. You know?
Of course, like even having my brothers like being okay with it. That's a big thing. Then my parents, then the subscribers and everything. It's just a number or something that's black and white. But I'm about human connection. And I think once I felt that acceptance from people, whether it was my best friends that work with me to this day, or the people that work with the Patrick Star brand or the One Size brand that believe in me, it says something so much more. Or my peers like you, that it's just so crazy and unbelievable and cool all at the same time.
I think we have such a great circle, like this like support system where we're not really up down each other's throat. We're more so like celebrating each other, and we've built such a great circle in this industry.
It's crazy because I feel like artists back in the day wouldn't have ever dined, let alone hung out or toasted or break
we're
bread
over
together.
here at Boa.
Literally, you, me, Nikita Dragon, and Patrick Ta. And I was looking at us.
That was such
from
a
the
good
outside. I was
conversation.
like, Nikita had went up to the bathroom and she came back and I was like, girl, I just realized like the four of us sitting together.
What a
so
gag
crazy.
it would be for us to see ourselves from a younger perspective.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, imagine us at 21 looking at us like sitting here, being able to afford a meal.
I know.
Literally eating was just so cool, and I was so proud of us. Not even me, just proud of all the people that I've grown up with. And you met Nikita at my apartment back in the day.
Yeah.
And I introduced to you Patrick Todd, not to claim the credit, but I mean credit where it's due. But it's just so crazy to see how cool and collaborative in terms of camaraderie that we have, and we are all POC. That's what made it even more crazy. So I'm only mentioning that if anybody listening at home is either Dominican, Filipino, Mexican, or Vietnamese, can just like resonate with that and just own their strength and their
That's
power.
true.
What would you say is the biggest gift of your career?
That question just can be taken in so many different directions.
Exactly.
My parents accepting that this is something that I could do as a career. I think for so long I was trying to prove to them that this was a real thing and that I could make something out of this and that I could be something someday doing makeup. Because to my dad, he wanted me to be a baseball player, anything masculine he wanted me to do, and he tried, but it just wasn't my thing.
And they get it now?
And they get it now. And I remember there was so many times where I would be like, hey mom, like I'm working with this person, and she'd be like, who? They're Dominican. Like unless I tell them J-Lo or some Latino artist, they don't know what's going on.
Did they get it when you did J-Lo?
Yeah.
They did. It took
I think
all
that was really like, it hit my mom like, oh, you know, like he's doing J-Lo, like the Latina, like queen, like, you know. I think before that, my mom, I started educating them on who the Kardashians are. They're like American royalty, like the whole nine, like, and then they started kind of getting it, but they didn't see it until I did J-Lo. And I think gaining that acceptance and that having that confidence, knowing that my parents are so proud of me. My dad goes around his church saying like, look what my son is doing. Like that, hearing that really triggered me. And I'm like, wow, like I'm okay. Like I killed it in life. Like I'm great.
Wow.
My parents accepted this. Like this is all I ever wanted.
And that's the gift. Amazing. So I have a little segment here called Doing the Most. Are you ready to play? All right, Doing the Most. Doing the most, bitch. Who do you think is doing the most?
You.
Everyone fucking says that.
Nikita. Oh man, I think Nikita.
Really? Why?
But in the best ways like possible.
Right.
I mean, she's like this big beauty mogul, a gorgeous trans woman who has opened up the doorways for so many, swinging her little hips over here and there, and her small ass waist and her beat face, and just not caring about what anyone says and just setting the standards for everyone so high. And like, she inspires me so much.
Oh, same.
And I feel like, to me, like when I see all the projects she's doing, from the Snapchat show to like the shoots that she does for her ad campaigns, like it's just, to me, it's so exciting to watch. And like, while to some it's doing the most, to me it's doing everything that she has to.
Okay. What means the most to you?
My family.
Family. This one, I may need your assistant here to help you answer. When were you the most messy?
Messy as in what sense?
Define it as you may. Messy.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very, very composed, and I think you know that about me. No, it's true, Patrick. Don't get me. I'm very composed. Like I feel like even in my messiest moments,
okay,
I'm still
that's what I'm
trying
asking for. I'm not asking how you deal with messy. I just want to know when you were messy. There has to have been. I'm assuming Dubai.
No, literally, I swear I'm not messy. I never have crazy experiences with guys where I'm like, I don't.
With all of that body.
I don't. It's true. Like, people would think that about me, but I'm the least messiest person when it comes to
Bitch,
that.
let me find out you have the same publicist as the Kardashians, bitch, because you are so trained.
No.
I'm going to find out.
I swear.
Bitch. Okay.
Patrick, I swear.
Next question. What is the most expensive thing you have?
Wow, that's hard because I have a lot of expensive things. But I will tell you something that I own that is the most expensive of its kind.
Okay. Oh, that sounds expensive in itself. What is it?
Okay, so I have the most expensive brush in the world. Why? Because it's laced in diamonds. So the barrel, is that what it's called?
The ferrule.
The ferrule?
The ferrule?
No,
part?
the whole thing.
Oh, the handle. The handle.
Handle to ferrule.
Okay.
It's laced in black and white diamonds, and it has my name in diamonds. And it is about $60,000.
What the? Was this a gift or you bought it like that?
It was a gift at my masterclass in Australia.
What the fuck? Can you please post it on your story so we could see?
It's in a safe. It's locked away.
Bitch, let me find out.
I never used it. I brought it once to Met Ball to do Kylie, like a video with Kylie, but we forgot because we were just like in a rush after glamming for 7 hours.
She still has yet to have her moment.
Yeah, but she will one day.
Next Met.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Or maybe on you.
I could use a little blush touch up right now. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on this podcast and being vulnerable and sharing your journey and your success. I am so honored and so gagged that I have known you for almost a decade now. We're truly becoming our own, and I hope that anyone here can be inspired by your journey to go after their dreams and their success.
Totally.
Thank you so much. You guys can follow Makeup by Ariel, Ariel Tejada on Instagram and all social media to see all his sickening looks. His Instagram is at Makeup by Ariel. And I love you. I thank you.
I love you more.
I support
Thank you for having me.
I cannot wait for you to beat this face. We have some fun things coming up in the works, fuckingly. And we'll see you all next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Say Yes to the Guest. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast and follow at Say Yes to the Guest on all social platforms. Remember, you are successful. Now go out and be the bad bitch you truly are. Can't wait to chat with you next time. Bye.